Does it say none?
You're on.
All right. Let's call this to order. First item of business, we do have a quorum. Welcome of guests and public comment. Anybody want to say anything in this vein? Robert?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. It's not really on water, but the farming and ranching. The FSA, which you know, and NRCS, a few of you don't know, they're, FSA, they cover El Paso, Hespeth, and Culberson County, 9,400 square miles. They're down to 2 in staff. And you know how many times we have to go there? You know, we used to go there once or twice a year, now we gotta go 8, 10 times. And the ranching and livestock stuff has come a long way. 40 years ago, they didn't pay anything. Nowadays, they pay pretty substantial stuff on that stuff.
So you have to go. Yeah.
But yeah, we need to tell our congressmen and senators and stuff, you can't cut these people. They've already cut some from the NRCS staff too. So I know you got a lot to do and I got a lot to do, so thank you for your time.
Okay, you bet. Thank you. Gentlemen, let's review the minutes of our last meeting, February 12th.
I'm like you, Pete.
Under tab 3. Okay, second. I didn't say anything either. So motion by Jared, second by George, that we approve those minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay. Next, Lisa, you wanna?
Yes, just real quick. I just
you.
wanted to introduce Rene Cremona. I know you all know him as operations supervisor. However, he had a dual position. He was also safety, but he's recently here become our full-time safety officer.
Okay.
Good morning.
Congratulations.
Just wanted to let
Thank
you all
you.
know.
Did you
that's
say
it.
it's Ramon, right?
Renee Cremona.
Sorry.
But I get confused with Ramon Theaters. So. But yes.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Other ones in compared to, so no. But,
All right. Renee, great.
thank you.
Next, Mary. Oh, we're already there.
Yes, we are.
Use
I'd
the
like
mic.
to have our auditors,
Want to have, okay.
represent, correct.
Renee, good to see you
Good
again.
to see you, Art. Council, appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Give you your annual report for last year. So
Yes,
this is
sir.
as of October. And I'm gonna say, you know, it's all really good news back then.
Great.
So, I'm looking at a good rainfall a couple of years ago, helped to do. I'd like to, if I can take just a few more minutes, this 5-year summary. I think it's a real good, it's right in front, I believe, of your report.
Okay.
And it's the past 5-year financial. This gives you a snapshot, you know, because history repeats itself, what kind of trend we've been on.
Okay.
Well, your current asset dictates kind of your liquidity, not kind of, but basically your liquidity. And this year, your current assets are way up compared to last year because we moved some treasury over into money markets. So it's really just movement of one form of cash into another one that is considered current asset. The long story short, your current asset, your current working capital ratio, which is your liquidity, is basically 10 to 1. You got over 10 times the amount of current assets fast than you do current liabilities. So you're extremely liquid, and you've been that way for years. Overall, in this 5-year trend, your total assets have gone down just a little bit, about $2 million, maybe about 7% in total assets. And your total liabilities, as you can see, have gone up just a little bit, about $200,000 in the same 2-year period. All in all, it means that your net position, and that's like the equity, the capital of our organization, has gone down from $30,200,000 to $28,032,000. And the reason for that basically is depreciation. If you look down below, you see your depreciation expense, 1.5 million, 1.4, 1.4. That's $7.6 million in depreciation over this 5-year term. So where I say you went down in assets by $2 million, $7 million of that is caused by depreciation. Okay, so it's
Now,
not.
Renee, are you talking about in the last 5 years? Because what we're looking at is only 3 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on that
Where's
single
that?
page. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. No wonder I'm lost. Okay,
Okay, all right.
thank you. Wake me up, Miss Ken. Okay.
I should have asked if
No, no,
everybody
no,
had
that's
that.
all right. I was looking at the wrong spot. All right, I got you.
Okay, so just right, I talked about your net position and then your total depreciation. So yeah, bottom line is you're in an, and I don't want to use the word extremely, but a very, very strong, market to be in, financially. And especially because of the, I'm gonna call it the ups and downs. If you look at your revenue stream, again, last year was a tremendous year. Went from 11.9 million to 15 million. It's a 26% increase in 1 year period. Over the 5 year period though, it's a 19% increase in 5 years of the overall revenue, basically water supply. But I will point this out, and it's not negative, just that if you look back at 2020, you had 12.7, a big year, then we dropped down to 9.9. Then the next year we jumped back up to 12. The next year we dropped down just under 12. Now we jumped up to 15. And with the water supply and the water circle, I'm gonna say, probably looking forward, it's gonna continue. And might be a big drop this time with the negative water flow. But the reason I'm bringing this up again is you're in a very good position to handle it. You just made some major improvements, major capital acquisitions, major cleaning. So if anybody's ready for it, I'd say you all are. Going on down to your expenses, naturally, as your revenues went up, the expenses went up. The cost of the purchase of the water and the repairs and maintenance that you had. So all in all, your expenses went up about 2.3 million over last year, close to a 20% increase in the 1 year period. But again, against the 26% increase in revenues, I'd take that any day. So this year you added close to $500,000 to your net position, your net capital of $493,000. And again, if you look at the ups and downs, the previous year down 200, the previous year up 92, down 2.5, up, down 60. So again, the fluctuation occurring. And all of that due to depreciation. If I can just go a few more minutes of your time just to jump into the actual report. So that's a 5 year trend. First, it is a clean opinion, unqualified opinion. And over on page 4 in the book, just to point out a couple of items. Of that $13.3 million in total current assets, $11.8 million of it is cash. So you're sitting at the end of the year extremely liquid. And quite honestly, it's a good time to be in cash because your money markets, your bank high interest rates are up at 4%. So pretty good time to have that cash. And just by the way, you don't have to go there, but I'll just point it out that over on your revenue stream, your interest income went up to $1 million compared to $160,000 in the previous year. So your cash is working for you, working for the public. The other thing I want to just point out, again, you see your treasury securities, those matured and moved over into the cash position. Over on the, a couple of pages to flip to, if you'll flip over to page 15, speaking of cash, just mark it for you all that, okay, what's our cash look like today compared to last year? And again, you'll see that, number one, our general fund cash is a little bit less because we put much more into the money markets. And again, the money markets are sitting at a pretty good interest rate right now compared to the previous year. So just a quick identification for you all, where's all this cash sitting and what's it doing for us? Well, it's earning good. I would argue 4+% sitting in the money market. Then back over on page 4, I mentioned your depreciation, make you flip to another page. Page 18 is detail of your property, plant, and equipment. And again, what have we done with some of this cash? Over on page 18, if you look there, you'll see that we've increased our vehicle and heavy equipment by $2.5 million. And overall, we've added $3.6 million to our total assets. And if you don't mind, a year ago, I mentioned your vehicles were at 12.5 million with depreciation of 11. Your vehicles were down to 10% usage. And so you did have to buy new vehicles and heavy equipment, that was done. And so now you're up at 15 million in total vehicles and equipment. Your depreciation on the older ones is at 11. So you're sitting in again, a good position where all of a sudden, everything's not gonna break on you and have heavy repairs. Back over another page, if you would, over on page 6 is your statement of revenue and expenditures. And just real quick, because I'll flip to another page, total operating revenues, as you can see, jumped to $13.8 million. The big animal in the cage there is your contract revenue, jumping from 3.9 to $6.6 million. On the expense side, dropping down below, the total operating expenses went up from 12.2 to 14.6. And again, a couple of the increases were payroll increases that we all had, and then a nice increase over in the capital projects area. And I'm talking about revenue and expense. If you flip all the way to the back on page 32, you all live and die by budgets to a large degree in a government entity. This is your budget taxable comparison. So during the year you had budgeted bring in $14.7 million amended, which includes this $6 million in contract revenue. You brought in the 6.6. So overall, you budgeted to bring in 14.7. You actually brought in 13.8. That's within 6% of what was anticipated in overall revenue stream on your amended budget.
What's the average? What's the normal?
Anywhere from 5%, give or take.
5% is the go-to?
Yeah, yeah, anytime it's 5, give or take 1, I'd say you're in good shape. Then on the expense side, down below, total expenses, you budgeted 17,065. You'd spent, I'm gonna use the word only, but there's a reason, you spent 14.6 million in actual expenditures, so your expenditures were down 14%. But there's one item, and we'll kind of note, you notice you don't have any depreciation budgeted. I will be recommended that we budget depreciation, and we can just divide prior year by 12 and start budgeting it every month, so that we don't have, because right now it's showing a 14% variance. If I get rid of that depreciation, you're really at 5%. Okay, so, and I think that's much more realistic when you're discussing your budget actual. So I will just recommend that we include depreciation based on the previous year, and that should get you in the ballpark. Well, the last page I want to point to is towards the very back, and that's going to be page 38. And when we do an audit government entity, we look at both your numbers, but then also, as you can see on page 37, it says independent audit report on internal control over financial reporting and compliance. Well, those are two big nasty animals, because it means that you all have to follow a lot of regulations and the revenues you get in and how you spend them. And our report does indicate that you follow those regulations, and we didn't have any issues or any concerns related to internal control or compliance with the contracts and grants that you have.
Yeah.
So it's all a very good report.
Well, that's great, because that's what we're after. We want to make sure. So we're all in compliance, we're all timely now on our little filings that we have to do with TCEQ and all that
Correct.
stuff. So,
Which are nastier and nastier every year, so you're doing a good job. I'll be you.
Mary, thank you. That's good too.
Thank you, Mary.
Renee, thank you very much.
Okay, it's
The
good to see
lady
you
in
guys.
back, I recognize you. Terry?
That's her, Teresa. Teresa. She does all the work, and then I just come. Comes with age, right?
Yeah, right. All right, well, both of y'all,
Okay.
thank you very much.
But thank you, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing a good job for us.
Renee. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Renee and Teresa. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, now, for the board, anything y'all look at, and y'all wanna know, of course, we can get a hold of the next. So anything y'all see in there, I marked down a few things. This one? Yeah, on your report. If you see anything, be sure and get a hold of Renee, or you call the auditor, or whatever you, if you see anything, if you see any, or get a hold of,
We didn't have the final,
Mary.
so yes.
Yeah, we didn't have, that's okay. That's okay. So you didn't have a chance to look at it.
Is this, our fiscal year ends when, December?
October
October, right?
31st.
So-
October 31st?
Right.
So typically, When do we normally have this, or has it, or do you expect this report?
Seems like
Right
right
around
around,
this-
right around now.
Is that normal? I mean, we just finished up to, let's
Takes
say,
them a while.
okay.
They put us in queue, they have other clients, but, yeah, we've been obviously with them for many years, from Bixler to them now. So, we're at their mercy, I guess, if you will, right, Mayor?
Yes, we were ready.
You
Well,
can try
the
it.
question I have
Is it true?
is very
No,
simple.
We were ready.
It's not on, but you can try, remember it's giving them a feed. Try it.
Testing.
There you go.
We were ready, December, and of course, like Jay just mentioned, we're on the queue. They were busy with other clients, so, they weren't able to come down until February.
Okay.
That's the reason for.
I guess what I'm saying is, since we're the customer and when we want it, we expect it, so, does it normally take how many months, October to December, that's like 4 months? Is that how long it would normally take for us to get our paperwork squared away? And then they do their 3 months, or, like, I'm trying to get a feel for, I'm usually from the school of end of fiscal year, and then I like to get my numbers as soon as possible, but I don't know what the process is, and I don't wanna kill ourselves either, I want a normal process. What would you recommend?
Normally, the audit usually takes place in January, and then it's presented in February.
Okay.
So, this year, we just.
More or less, okay.
Correct.
We were ready in December, so we finished the water season October 31st. We have a few weeks to tally up and get all the counts
Yeah.
correct, but or finalized, should I say. But as Mary stated, we were ready in December, but, and we tell them to schedule us initially from the first, as soon as possible, put us at the top of the queue of their list, other clients, but, I mean, unfortunately, they get to us when they determine they can get to us, so.
Yeah,
But we're ready
it's
to
been
December.
around this time of year.
As long as it's within this time of year, as long as it's
Yeah.
not far out, I'm okay with it.
And when we're within our period to submit to TCEQ.
That's where I was going with
Yes.
this.
Yes, and they were aware of that, sir.
They were aware of it, they
Perfect.
brought it to our attention, and guess what?
Awesome, we made it.
We met all the deadlines.
But I like the reporting, it's very detailed, very comprehensive, and it's actually easy for me to read, so
Yeah.
normally it's,
Very detailed.
Tough.
I seem more detailed than our
I,
reports.
I didn't mention.
Very good. Okay, Mary?
Our first report is our monthly investment report. Our money market went down to 4.31%. As of today, the 1 month monthly rate with the treasury is at 4.37, and then it continues to drop down to 4.03 for a 1 year.
Okay. Right, so you're watching that, and the money markets, they change that on us every month, right?
Every month, correct, and this is as of February 28th.
That's right, as long as you're watching it, we're still looking pretty good.
Correct.
Okay. Go on, Mary.
And the following is our balance sheet report. We do have about a 215,000 balance on our accounts receivable other. And those consist of the influent, our annual fee of some culvert installations as well as a dewatering account. And we are on top of it and expect payment within the month.
Gentlemen, anybody see anything? Next, net revenue?
Next is our net revenue. We are 4 months into our fiscal. For our operating income, we are at 53% of our projected budget. And for our expenses, we are at 29%.
How many months in are we?
4 months,
53, and what did you say on the expense side?
29%.
Okay, pretty close at this point. We don't need any big adjustments yet, do we?
No, we do not. If we need to, we'll present that within the 6-month period.
All right. The third party implementing will probably be changed, huh?
It could possibly be changed.
Yeah.
We I need to work with assessing and submitting the first quarter for this year.
All right, and our special projects, our Duck Creeks and all that, we're still going on, right? We got everything rolling along?
Yes,
Yeah.
everything is moving and we've got, unfortunately, we're not releasing, so we have fortunate to
Little more time.
time to
Yeah,
work
I know.
in the system, so.
Okay. Go, Mary, go ahead.
Okay, our next report is our $1,000 check report. I would just like to mention on line item 17, to El Paso Star Ready Mix, that is a reimbursement. These are installations to some of our farmers who have already paid for the
Okay.
service.
All right.
Speaking of reimbursements, didn't we have one area that's just focusing on reimbursements?
Yes, and we didn't have any at this time,
Okay, that's what I
besides
thought.
the line number 17.
Okay.
On the 48 to 52, I'm assuming that that's in the budget?
Yes, it was approved.
It's right across, because they're three-quarter down, it looks like.
Yes.
At the very top line, 29, says diagnose repair engine light, then it says $7,500, okay. Peterbilt,
Yes, that was a computer software upgrade on.
computer software, they
Upgrade.
didn't change out the board, they just gave you an upgrade on that thing?
Yes, it was just an upgrade on the computer.
7,500?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
It's an 08, I thought it was, yeah, it's a 2008.
Okay,
Sounds,
Well, I'm
expires
just-
its warranty.
I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around all these prices. I mean, we're running into it on the farm too, you know. So somebody looks at your tractor, sends you a bill for $1,200.
Yeah.
So,
On the Rio Grande, on their, what, 47,
47.
that is an annual fee, I'm assuming, right?
Correct.
Part of the
Yeah.
membership. Who, do you go to it, or when is it? Is it every month, or?
I remember, yes, I'm on the committee and it's every 2 months for the most part.
Who goes? You do, or,
Me.
but you represent us and stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
every meeting.
you'll be a president of it for a while too when that happens. Does that happen to you yet, where they move you up? No. They will.
Not yet.
They will.
I might not get invited back, no.
Oh, okay. Well, keep them angry, and that's a good way to not get that presidency. Yeah.
Here you go.
No.
How long do we keep the trucks, by mileage or age or what? What you get for them? Or-
We just sent one to the auction, it's got 280, the warehouse one, what was it?
They're usually by mileage. right?
yeah, it was almost 300,000. We actually sent two just to the auction. Both of them had over 200,000 miles on them.
And they're what year model?
2009. 2009 is
Yeah.
the warehouse. I think
Keep them that long.
it depends. If they're running fine, I mean, you know, when the maintenance cost starts to outweigh the cost of a new one payment wise, I guess. But, yeah, no, Pete and Luis have a very good, our mechanic up there. Obviously, we do all the service so that they've got everything streamlined to where when it becomes problematic, and some we can't find parts, huh?
Right. Some of our parts are obsolete.
You know, it's interesting, one of the new ones, couldn't find a door, what was it, Pedro?
Yeah.
You couldn't find a door. They hit our ditch rider and, there were no doors available at any of the Chevrolet dealerships. It was the weirdest thing, but, I don't know, still blaming it on COVID, so. We're waiting.
I guess that's pretty good. If they were, the ones they replaced were 2008 models.
The warehouse was an 09, I'm pretty sure. The other one, I don't know which the other one was. Was it a ditch rider?
Yeah, it was the R4.
Oh, okay, yes. Those are like 2012.
Yeah, there's a 2009.
All right, anything else? No? Okay. Mary?
Our following report is our credit card.
Okay. And then the next one,
And the final is our legal
our
consulting.
legal thing. Ongoing.
Legal, are we planning on spending any money on grants? I understand our engineers planning on grant writing.
I've got a full grant update for you today.
Oh, okay.
There's an 11 by 17 sheet right there.
I'll just wait for your report then.
You got it. And we'll give you the rundown on the current situation up to date.
Good.
Okay.
Mr. I'm sorry, we need an approval for the financial audit.
For the financial.
Move to approve.
Oh, for the financial audit, okay.
Move to approve.
All right, Mike made a motion, do I hear a second? Okay, Jared, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. You got it.
Thank you.
Okay. You
Sorry.
bet. Okay, Rose, your turn.
Good morning.
Good morning, evidently got two lights, Mary and Beth.
No, you need to.
Oh,
No,
you
just, you need to
No,
speak
sorry.
up. It's the grounding, sir, I need to work on it.
Oh.
It's making it. You just need to speak up, Rose.
Start yelling at us, Rose.
We do have 3 tax adjustments.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on those 3?
No, I did look at them. Everything looks okay to you, right? You filled out the reasons, so I can understand.
Okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the tax, what do you call it, assessment and changes,
Adjustments
adjustments, there you go.
to assessment and changes or charges.
Anybody?
Move to approve.
All right, Mike made the motion. George second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. All right,
Our next report is an update on leases for the El Paso Water Utilities, Burbank Water District, and taxes.
okay. Think we had another 23 on the tax suits, I like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Laurel Valley back to not doing anything, okay, that's normal.
Hopefully they should be picking up, because we got some subdivisions coming in.
Do you? Okay. Okay. All right,
We're good?
we're good.
Okay. Our next report is a comparison, the 2023 tax assessment versus the 2024. Last year, the same time, we're at 92.2023, right now at 92.9429%.
Wow. Okay. I can't, that's amazing, you're still above last year, that's good.
Yes.
Well, Rose, thank you.
Thank you. That's all I
Appreciate
have.
your work, that's great, thank you. You're a student.
It's all teamwork. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you. Jay, nothing?
I'm gonna give you a grants update. We have a separate category for grants, but, I guess I wanted to discuss briefly the farmers meeting. I know Dr. Blair's not here, and not
Okay.
much has changed, but we can discuss it.
All right.
Dr. Blair's item, or whatever, you know,
Sure.
whenever we get there. As far as a necessity for a farmers meeting, later this month, there hasn't been any change from last month.
And we're not gonna do any water, we're not gonna actually,
We're not.
Still,
It's still June, but yeah, as far as duration and allocation, we hope, and Dr. Bear, obviously, we're waiting to make sure we can deliver the amount that, we have in storage, so, next month, we'll talk more, Dr. Bear, as far as allocation, the board making allocation for the next month or May, but, there's not much going on and not much has changed since last month, February.
what's your thought on talking to the farmers? You wanna do it soon, or I think they're all aware?
I think everyone's aware, yeah, no, George had brought up last month about a farmer's meeting in March, but, they're,
What do you think?
yeah, that's why I
Well,
brought it up.
last year was such an exception to the rule. We weren't
Yes.
expecting what hit,
Yeah.
but we typically have one in March, but we need to switch it.
Well, we
I
released
just
in
tell them
March.
to keep praying.
We released in March last year, so so we had one board, in January, and we're gonna have full, you know, so, but,
I think we could wait another month into April, only because nothing's changed. And I've been telling everybody,
I have to.
say, if you don't have a well, you don't be planning to plant anyway.
Jared's running.
19 of them going right now.
Yes,
Yeah, good.
there is a significant storm going through as we speak, over Wolf Creek, so that hopefully, they projected 1 to 3 feet, so that would be,
When did that big one hit last year?
November, beginning of November, and
November,
then
oh, it was in November that it
and
caused.
it stopped.
Yeah, that's when we got our early snow, and we thought, hey, hallelujah, and then it
It's-
stopped.
So I think this week might be the best one since November, so.
We're hoping.
Somebody get a rain dance going.
I think y'all seen Al's, did y'all get email Al's pictures? You don't have it on your, okay, well, the snowpack looks very poor, very poor,
Extremely.
but we are getting the snow right now, so. All right,
Okay, so we'll discuss it on April 9th is the next meeting.
okay. All right, Jay, what else you want?
That's all I got.
Feel free to
John.
bring
Any questions?
anything that Al usually talks about if you want.
I'm sorry?
Feel free to talk about anything that Al,
Oh, no, well, that
If you
not
know.
much has changed. Yeah, no, not much has changed, and, so we're gonna, yeah, just hope, and, hopefully the runoff is, you know, the little snow we've got, but, typically, March and April are the significant months for snowfall, so we hope the trend keeps going, and hope to have a better report next month.
okay?
You got a project going on by the IBWC or somebody upstream?
American Canal,
How's
yes.
that- How's that coming along?
It is coming along well. We had a meeting with EPCWID yesterday, as a matter of fact, to discuss that. We had provided them a deadline of February 15th, as we do for any contractor on a normal year. We did extend that, first week of February. We let them know that they could go to March 31st.
Right.
So, they are on schedule, yeah, they're transitioning. So right now, they're in the middle of the channel, they're doing some temporary transitions to be able to receive water, for the year, for us, for the season. So they're finishing that up, at which that time, at the end of this month, we should be able to take in the effluent that's coming in from the plant upstream. As of now, it's going out to the Rio Grande, but, it's Odin as a contractor, and, they seem to be, following pretty well, the plans and, the timeframe. So Enrique's been out there to the meetings, they have a meeting every Wednesday, but, IBWC's got a full staff, obviously for the.
How long was that project for, the duration?
It was supposed to finish to late 26, early 27. They are working on a compressed schedule to present to us, to Dr. Blair and us, and so we're gonna sit down with IBWC. That was the meeting we had yesterday. They wanted to see if they could change the phasing and ask us if we meet with them to discuss irrigation season next year, and we said, you know, we have yet to project this year's, and they want us to tell them about next year, so that.
Why can't they stay in the window of,
Exactly.
like everybody else?
So that's exactly what we mentioned to IWC. I said, you know, they need to stick to the November 1st or February 15th, and then, you know, as the time gets closer, as we did this year, we can extend it to March, you know, depending next year. But, yeah, they wanted to meet to discuss next year, so that we said no, they can just adhere to the original schedule. But it should be early 27 is the timeframe, the original, so.
Gotcha.
we're probably-
If you don't mind, can you let me know in the next meeting?
Sure.
I'd like to be fly on the wall, just to.
Okey-doke. All right, Enrique. No steel plates,
Looking good.
looking good.
Just a little update. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, some numbers from, we're still looking at 2023 for the comparison. It's 2024. Obviously, we released in March, so there was no return flow last year. So up to, from the start of return flow to today, we've done about 5,369 acres versus 2023 was 7,207. So we're about 25% less of 2023. But we're working on 1,000 acres currently active. And we're working with the farmers as far as the wells. So if they need to run their wells through our canals, they're calling just to ask for permission if they can use the laterals and stuff. Yeah, we're working with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we all got caught off guard, we kept thinking this drough's gonna end in 22 years by my reckon, 2003. We've had very little, we've had a few wet years, but golly, been rough.
Yes.
Yes.
And pending orders, we still have about 4,000 acres is still to go to review for this month.
Okay. You still using that, we have to do the 2-inch thing?
Yes, the 2 inches.
Yes, okay. Okay,
That's all I have.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Enrique.
Steve?
Don't say it.
Don't say it. Looking good. I'll say it more.
Oranges are cover.
Is it not there? Is it over there?
Oh, it's over here.
Is it this one?
Yeah, I think.
The one with the little
Where's
buttons.
the knife bit over there?
So
The one with the little buttons.
Yeah,
Little bit,
this guy?
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Turn it on, Chris. Gets it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll try to go quick through these slides, as I know you guys are in a hurry, so. First couple of slides is just part of our drains, either inside the city limits and outside. The first pictures are from the inside of the city limits. Starting on the west side, on the Montoya drain, going all the way down to the middle, and Mesa drain down here in the valley. Just some of the maintenance that's going into these drains. Of course, this Montoya drain's always got a whole bunch of water in it, so we're only able to do the tops.
Where does that water go in Montoya? Does it
That-
go back
that's the one
into
going into the river?
Yeah.
River, at the, that's the electric plant?
But there's actually like weir in the river, so it doesn't drain out completely. You always got water in it. Okay, these are all the drains. You see where the water behind it, where we're starting to clean it, the water's just starting to catch up on us. See these before and after pictures. The other side, unfortunately, there's no room right there by the border wall to where we get our equipment over there.
Is that the Husband Theater?
Yes, it's not here, it's actually the border drain. Then this is the east drain. And there's a beaver dam there in the, right underneath the overpass there, or the bridge. Now, this is some of the work that's going into, this is on the Franklin here below, right up the street from Yarborough. This is from Fresno to Yarborough, where we have to dig out some berms and kind of narrow the channel. The channel was starting to get kind of wide there, getting closer to these holes on the left side there. And then this here's some chain link fence that we had to remove. There was about a good 150 feet of chain link fence that we had to remove over by Jefferson High School. We had all these weeds entangled inside the fence, and with the weight, the fence just collapsed.
That's not part of the grant.
No.
Is that Jefferson High School's
That's right.
fence or is it our fence?
No, it's our fence, it's actually Jefferson High School on the other side of the bridge that you see there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then a couple of dust abatement gates that went in, of course, these are paid by the landowner. This is here by Thompson Road by the cemetery. And then this one is over there by check 2 on the Tornillo.
Oh, that's where the jet skis were.
Yes. And I saw those.
Did we ever talk with those people?
I went out there, they were gone.
They're already gone.
So we still got 3 crews working on turnouts, gentlemen, so if you guys come across anybody that needs a turnout repaired or yourselves, just let me know. This is one there on the Franklin Canal. And then this is the finishing touches that we did on the island main. Keep in mind that the island main, our goal was to do 4,000 feet. But then after the last board meeting, or the one before that, we decided we wanted to cut off and have that island main ready by February 28th. We were able to do 3,500 feet. And we were out of the island main by the 26th of February.
That's good. Wow.
This is a slab that we built here in the back of the yard. This, couple of months ago, you saw in the $1,000 report that we have purchased 2 storage containers. That's where these storage containers would be placed. So it was a 15 by 85 foot slab. This is the branch A. This is the section there by Yarborough and North Loop, where we're having to drop the floor to see if maybe we can get the water to wash out that culvert underneath the Walmart parking lot. We're looking at about 750 feet of underground pipe. And we'll be shotcreting this here probably next week, once weather permits. With these winds, it's been kind of hard to pour this, but it's ready to go. This is on the 154 over by Chase and Mr. Stubbs. Here we had 2 culverts and we had a check down below. The check was in real bad shape already, it was deteriorating, so we went ahead and replaced the check and replaced both culverts. Again, culverts were paid by the farmer. One was Chase and the other one was Stubbs. There's a new check going up. The new check was completed.
Those are the ones we were building here, right? We built those here.
No, those were built on site, the check. The ones we built here, actually pavements were these right here, the ones that you see here in front of you. These are actually culverts. This is something that we tried, it worked great actually. So we built the head walls in our Fabian's yard. And these were 2 crossings that we did for Chase and Mr. Stubbs. And you'll see as the pictures go on. So we built the 4 head walls, poured concrete, then we brought them in and set them into the 154.
Wow.
And that's what you get after we're done.
Very nice. Very nice.
So we had to do 2 crossings there. That section in the middle, there's a couple of turnouts in there, so that's gonna be open. But it just make their crossings about a good 5 to 6 feet wider. Give them more room to get in there. This over here on the river drain by Cuadrilla, where we installed 100 feet of pipe for Lower Valley Water District. Again, they paid for the pipe, paid for all material. This is an area where there's gonna be a water line going through there. And this project here will be completed today. We just got about maybe 2 feet of backfill that we gotta do. So we should be done there before lunch.
You said 100-foot
It's 100 feet of an extension,
extension.
It's an extension, so actually, that made that culvert about a good, what, 200 feet maybe there, Jay?
Right, and this is part of a project that Lower Valley and the county of El Paso have. I guess we've been involved for some time as well. They're gonna provide services, this is in Cuadrilla, southeast of Cuadrilla or Socorro Road. So this is our drain, and there's a bunch of residences back there that don't have any services, sewer or water, or a public road. So this is gonna be a public road where the excavator is. The residents have given an easement to the county to provide a roadway. So obviously, right now, the buses and everything utilize that, so, and extending the culvert is gonna provide for a safer traveling area for the buses and everything, tractors and whatnot. So we extended the culvert, Lower Valley paid for it, and the county is going to, we've got some laterals that we've got to extend as well, and that'll be funded by the county. So it's a big effort from many entities, so it'll be good. The residents are getting water and sewer, they're gonna provide both services.
Okay. Yeah, Lower Valley's gonna provide all that, right? And they're
Correct.
gonna actually put a sewer plant around there? There's already one there, isn't
They're
there?
doing a force main, this will be all
Force
pressurized,
main.
so it'll be a lift station.
That's all I got, gentlemen. We'll be starting on the, we actually started already on the Montoya A, being that we finished on the Guadalupe a little early. We're starting the Montoya main, hoping to do the, I think it was something like 1,300 feet of shotcrete, starting at Lindbergh all the way to Country Club.
Okay.
And we have to also redo a check gate there. That's, when it was built too high, so it's about 18 inches too high. So I need to demolition that and drop it and build another gate. And we are in the process, we started today on that
Where's
project.
that feed over there, the one that broke?
I'm sorry?
Where's that one you said you gotta drop? Who's it feeding to?
It's a check gate. It's actually just a check gate to back up the water.
Oh,
Yeah, it was built too high. So my floor from the shotcrete is gonna be about 18 inches below that check. So I need to drop that check at least 18 inches.
Okay. Yeah, they started, I mean, I saw them cutting the trees and stuff.
Yes,
The other day.
yeah. We've got the machines out there already, so we're doing the shaping already.
Have fun with the traffic.
Yeah, there's that check feed that's talking about.
It's the first check upstream from the Country Club check.
Georgia's side.
Is that right there by Foster's place?
Who?
Bob Foster.
That guy.
Bob Foster.
Paul.
Paul Foster.
No,
Paul,
Well,
Paul.
he's
further
on the,
downstream.
He's
That's
on the
downstream.
other
Sunset,
side
right?
of the
Sunset.
Country Club.
Downstream Camarera.
yeah, no, this is just right upstream from Country
Yeah,
Club.
Country Club Road is right up here.
Okay.
Between
yeah.
Country Club and Lindbergh. Yeah, that's the check there that's gonna have to be redone.
So we're gonna, do this whole section. This is all it's lacking, beaten, yeah, the guys got it 2 years ago, 3 years? The section all upstream?
Yes, yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, so we're hoping to have this done by the end, before water season this year. Okay, thank you guys.
And that is part of a grant?
That's part of a grant,
Yes.
okay? That you're gonna tell us at the end here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Muchas gracias.
Thanks,
Let's-
Enrique.
Looking good.
All right, subdivision plats. All right, Sharon, you're on.
One is application 3566 for Enriquez Escobar for Emery Road, subdivision replat A, we're bringing it up on the Google Earth. It's, and licensing has reviewed the application and, recommended for approval.
Okay,
Yeah, here's Sunland Park, the casino right here. It's
it's close to the same.
this whole area, this small subdivision, it's got like 5 lots.
Emery Road, yeah, I've seen.
How is that affecting us? Is there drainage?
It has water rights, they irrigate, the Montoya lateral is back here,
Okay.
but the property has water rights and they irrigate, so they need to place irrigation easements, platting, and make sure that no downstream users are cut off in the process, so.
And everything's A-okay, huh?
Yes.
Move to approve.
All right, Mike made a motion, we approve.
Second.
George seconds, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay. Let's see, let's go on to 13 then. We're application for license, and memorandum of understanding. No. Yeah, you just step right in the middle. All right, let's do application 3567.
Application 3567 is by contractor Hydro Resources Mid-Continent. It's for a temporary license to access El Paso water property so they could work on their well, 3038. And it's for a license to use the left bank of the Canutillo lateral and the New Mexico Street. Licensing has reviewed this application and recommends it for approval.
Before I start rewriting that stuff, let me see if I understand this. So the limited ingress and egress to access
El Paso water
El
property.
Paso water property.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Not
sure.
our property.
I'm putting it up. It's up in the.
But they're gonna use our bank to get onto that. Okay, I understand.
It's no longer PSB.
It is,
Well,
it's this property right here,
yeah, they call it.
this is West Side Drive. This whole field is owned by El Paso Water. This is where the Canutillo lateral starts. This is the heading of the Canutillo. It has no access. This is La Union East is right here, so they can't access this. There's no access around, along West Side Drive. In order to access this property that El Paso Water owns, as you see, they have a well here,
Yeah,
is to come through Bosque Road from Canutillo School.
okay.
So they come through here, they're gonna turn here, and they receive the license to cross the Nemexis drain and then travel up the left bank of the Canutillo lateral here just to get into their property.
Okay.
So they can access this. It's landlocked, I guess.
So duration, I know it's temporary.
It's 6 months, 6 months.
Okay.
Move to approve.
All right, Mike made the motion that we approve that application. Jared second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay. Aye, anyone opposed, same sign. All right, Sharon?
Okay, application 3570 is by Smithville Construction Incorporated. It's also the same, it's a different contractor, but they're also trying to
Get the same.
access El
Okay.
Paso water property to work on a well, and they're also gonna use the left bank of the Canutillo lateral and the New Mexico Street. It's just a different.
It's the same location.
A different
Yes, it's a
contract.
different contract.
Same location, yes.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve that application?
Make a motion.
Jared made the motion, George second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, anyone opposed, same sign. Okay, application C, Mike asked that says he's gonna abstain from that.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, he's abstaining from this one. But, go ahead, Sharon.
Application 3573 is by Sierra del Sur Pueblo. It's also for a temporary license to access ingress and egress for temporary 48-hour well discharge within the Riverside Canal and the Riverside Intercepting Drain. And licensing has reviewed this application and recommends it for approval.
Okay, 48 hours.
It's up here on the screen, so they have an existing well, they're running a test on it. This is, so our Socorro ponds are right here. This is right downstream, District 2's there for the Tiwas. They have a well right here, and they were gonna run an analysis, and their canal is broken, and they didn't wanna put it in the field, so they're putting it into the drain, or, the drain of the canal, but the drain was right here.
Okay,
So yeah, they're just gonna discharge for 48 hours and take some samples, but.
so I can see how the wells.
Correct. That's it.
All right, entertain a motion.
Motion.
All right, Jared made a motion, George second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. All right, that motion passed. Tell Miguel he can come back in. Okay. And Claudia can get whatever documents he needs to sign.
Yes.
All right, let's go on down here. 14, 15, 16, 17, wow, all the way down to 18.
We're requesting to take that item into
Closed
closed session.
session?
Yes.
Okay, we will do that. Item 19 will move into closed session. How about 19?
Okay, so 19, yes, thank you, Art. I provided, there's a summary that Mary and I worked on for the grants.
Okay,
And so we currently have 5 active grants with the United States Bureau of Reclamation and 3 active grants with Texas Water Development Board. Obviously, so given the current situation with the administration and assets have been frozen for grants, so strangely, or
the assets, you mean the grants have been frozen?
Yes.
Even though they might have been granted?
yes,
Wow, okay.
Pushes everything out.
they've all come to a screeching halt, so
Okay. Till the review?
as strange as that sounds, we submitted a reimbursable for, the report was due January 29th on the 508, which is number 2 for United States Bureau of Reclamation. It's the telemetry.
Okay.
We have purchased, at the end, you'll see there what we're responsible for, which is, 219,000, and the, USBR was reimbursing 200. So, this grant had been in here for a few years, and we asked for an extension, and we purchased all the equipment, about $100,000 worth. And, January, we submitted a request for reimbursement, half of that for 50,000. As of yesterday's meeting, we should be reimbursed for any work that has been done and submitted, reporting wise, as far as, request for reimbursement. That's the status for this particular one, so 50,000. Obviously, the concern was, number 5 and a 1, which are the 2 Riverside Canal grants. One of them is for $2 million, 50% match, we put up $1 million. And then phase 6 is for $4 million, and we put up $2 million. Number 1 has been here since like 2020, this grant. It's expiring this year. We haven't started, it's Riverside Canal Phase 4. Obviously, we've been trying to catch up and get the other ones out of the way, which is that green one down there that you see from Texas Water Development Board. That one, the Franklin Feeder, was here since 2019, and so we've been playing catch up. We finished the one that's highlighted in green, and I'll talk about that here in a bit, but obviously that created a ripple effect on all the other ones. In discussion, we asked, we're gonna need to ask for an extension on this Riverside Canal Phase 4. They said they didn't know if we were gonna qualify for an extension. We could ask for 1 5-year extension, so we're preparing a letter to submit that. I said, so what happens if you don't do an extension and you don't approve it? They said, well, let's have that discussion. She's like, well, we're not sure because of the current situation. So I guess, I'm gonna submit the letter, we'll send it in and ask for a 5-year extension. I told them the earliest we could get to Riverside Canal Phase 4 was November of 2026. We've got the Montoya lateral system that Pete just spoke about, which is number 4. We need to finish that up by next year. And the telemetry is ongoing, we should finish that, which is number 2. That is a great improvement. We added 17 telemetry sites. So 2 and 4 are currently ongoing. Number 3 is the seepage analysis for Riverside regulating reservoir. We are waiting on that, obviously for the effluent, and so the ponds, we're waiting on that. Dr. Blair and I, we're going to take care of that. But, those are small ticket items compared to 1 and 5, and the question that I had for them yesterday, Mary and I were like, we don't wanna start any work. In fact, we don't even have the notice to proceed on 1 and 5. We've done the environmental on our behalf. We submitted those, which were the Texas Historical Commission approval, so we received that and we sent them in last year. Given this number one has been here since 2020 and those submittals have not been turned in, we've taken care of those. We've gotten approvals, as you can see, SHPO, Society, is the historic preservation. So all those have been cleared, but, you know, we're like, we don't wanna enter and start work if there's a possibility the district's not gonna get reimbursed for these grants. I mean, these are
Yeah,
$4
that's a lot
million,
of money.
$2 million grants.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know how the board, you know, obviously you give us direction as far as, you know, we're gonna wait, do we start, are they gonna terminate them, or is that an option? So everything's kind of up in the air, but fortunately, I mean, we're not looking to getting started for phase 4 till November of 2026. So we've got some time, obviously, for this to kind of pass through and the freeze that's currently on. So I just wanted to bring it up to you all so you are aware of the current situation with grants, and as you can see there, what the obligation to the district is there. So that's Bureau of Reclamation. Texas Water Development Board, we finished number 1, the Franklin feeder. That was, as you can see, the percentage over here, or the district amount. We've submitted multiple final reports to the Texas Water Development Board, and I think we finally received approval 2 weeks ago that we will get reimbursed. Right, Mary?
That's
So-
180 partner.
Yes.
Okay.
But
So
that,
even though it's green, we haven't gotten our money back.
no, physically,
What number is this?
number 1 on Texas Water Development Board.
We got $180,000 instead of.
But, you know, we've submitted multiple reports multiple times to try to get here, and we're finally there, but,
Okay.
moving on, yeah. The Franklin Zoo, so we need to ask for an extension, on the
Well, it's got until 28.
28, yes, we just received it, yes, we asked for the extension and we just received it. And Riverside Canal Phase 5, so we've not started either one of these two. These are Texas Water Development Board, obviously, and not with the Bureau. So number 2, we're gonna contract out next year. We've already asked for a reduction. That's what I told the Bureau yesterday. We're like, you know, these grants from 2020 and 2021, those dollars per foot are not extending what $1 per foot is today. So, you know, we need to revisit and revise the scope significantly. You just cut it by half, and you know, so we have enough monetary funds to complete what we need to complete, because this is not gonna fly. So this number 2 on Texas Water Development Board, the original was 2,400 linear feet. So we were able to cut that to 1,200 linear feet, and now for the same amount. So we're gonna contract out, that's right at the zoo. So, you know,
Third party, yeah.
get the animals and the work and disturbance and all that, so we're gonna contract that out, and the mobilization, it's just a tight area to work in. So we'll put that next year, see how the bids come in, and we'll go from there. Number 3 on the Riverside Canal, that's a settling basin. I don't know, this grant was applied to in 2021, it was applied for this grant. It's for a settling basin, and it would serve a good purpose. I think we've identified an area upstream from Hole in the Wall, Riverside Canal. We've got some space there, so we're gonna try and construct a settling basin there, so we can just go in there and have all the silt settle at that low spot, and we can go in there with a loader and excavate and haul off the silt much more efficiently, rather than have to be digging right now.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so those still are ongoing on the books. We haven't started either one of them, 2 or 3. So the only ones that we are actively working on physically today is United States Bureau of Reclamation grant number 2 and number 4. So
What's this, Jay, this column, the grant year, is that when we received?
That's when it was awarded, yes,
Awarded.
so applied would probably be the year before.
Because you said on that one, number one up here, we received it in 2020, I thought you said.
Yes, 2020,
It says 22 here.
yes, that is incorrect.
That's 2020?
What is the significance, Jay, on, the only one that doesn't have a check mark is TWDB number 3 on that SHPO?
Yes, that's the Society of Historic Preservation. There hasn't been a,
Study of it,
we haven't,
make sure we're not.
no, we haven't submitted the, so we need to write a submittal to the Texas Historical Commission,
Come review.
letting them know that we're not gonna do anything out of the ordinary and disturb or destroy any historical preservation in our facilities. So,
Okay.
I'm working on that, we should submit that by the end of this month. So, yeah, those should, those need to be done within the first month of being awarded, and we're working our way down, we've got all of them except that.
Okay.
I don't see, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. In the 30,000 feet in the air, looking at this, I don't see such a big deal. We got time on the majority of these grants, I'm thinking, except one, and I guess the one that's due this year. And when it was submitted on, you indicate 2020, right? For number one? That was pre-COVID, or more or less pre-COVID.
Sure.
So there's a story that, to me, it seems as a simple explanation, properly vetted to the letter.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy, everybody's home. Now we have
It was 20.
a situation where everything's frozen, at least from the current administration. Again, another impact or delay, not by us, by somebody else. The COVID act of God, that's, or something out of control. So there's a story there. What I'm afraid of, and this is something that we need to be aware of, the bureaucracy of the whole thing is, if nothing happens, if we don't initiate something timely, we get blamed for it. So what I'm saying is, submit the letter, explanation, whatever it is. That way, they can choke on it. Somebody else does, not us. In other words, we have a good explanation, a story for an extension. Hell, not even only an extension, plus more money, if we choose to do that. But you will not get it if you come in after the fact and everybody's the smartest guys in the room, and then we ended up losing that opportunity. In other words, we cannot miss those opportunities that are COVID, in the administration right now. And when we found ourselves in this situation where, hey, there's not enough money because of the current cost of material because of COVID. There's a lot of things. So if we don't, and then again, I'm not in the trenches, so you know, you and Al have been in the trenches, so I don't know, so I'm looking at it from the outside looking in. But there's a very good story that we can explain, and some bureaucrat upstairs should have no issue with this. It sounds like there might be an issue, and I just need to know if there's an issue, the sooner the better.
There is no problem. Keep in mind, Dr. Bear and I, we've written at least 5, maybe 6 letters, requested 6 extensions.
Oh, okay.
When we started, all our grants were deficient, every single one of them, okay? So we had to go back, Mary and I and Dr. Blair, request funds for multiple grants that the funding hadn't been requested. The timelines were all expired, so we have sent all those letters and they've not denied one. We've received extensions on all of them. So
Okay.
these that you see here, for the most part, with the exception of number 5, Phase 6 Riverside. Phase 6 was awarded December of 2022, and 2020, January, we got the notification in December. In January of 2023, we received the contract. We got the notification. So with the exception of, for the most part, all of these, and the Montoyas, we have requested extensions and we've not been denied. Now, for the Riverside number one and USBR, in discussion yesterday, I don't know, she didn't, I don't know, Mary, what did you take on Lydia's, on the extension? When we asked, well, we need to ask for an extension, but she didn't seem real positive, I don't know.
She did not seem positive.
Well, she was, more because of the,
Because of the current political climate, nobody knows exactly what's going
Yeah, she was
on.
irritated.
But-
But since we've gotten all the extensions we've asked for,
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty confident when, you're right, there's a
That's
haze
what I'm
over
thinking.
everything
I
right
think
now.
we have a
Yeah.
very good position. And
Absolutely.
even to the point where, at the end of the day, if they, let's say she denies us, we have so much backup to this thing that, you know what, we should be fine.
Something that, you know, it kind of really took me by surprise and having these meetings with these folks on the Bureau, I said, you know, we can only work in our facilities from November to February. I said, so that's why these timelines that
We're-
existed and that you all have are not, they're not realistic because we can only work on these canals 4 months out of the year. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, they have water the other 8 months. So they're like, oh, okay, so we've, that can include that. So we've written, you know, the requests have, you know, COVID and the time frame. So there's multiple reasons that, we're in the current state. So, but they've been very receptive and, like I said, they approved every extension we requested. So we're gonna do the same for Riverside Canal Phase 1, but, you know, as I mentioned to them yesterday, Mary and I were like, you know, we're not, Riverside Canal Phase 4, which is gonna start where Phase 3 ended, we're not gonna get started till November of 2026, and it's a mile, and it's large, and we've got other projects, and it's gonna take us probably 2 to 3 non-irrigation seasons. So that means we're gonna have to request an extension for number 5 for Phase 6, which ends in 2028. I said, so, you know, just be ready for it. But she just smiled and said, okay, but I don't know. We'll get there, man. We'll get there.
I don't see it as bad. I think it's good. I think
Yeah,
we're
no,
in a good
what
position.
we've, I didn't show the completed list. I guess I'll provide that next month. But there's been quite a few that, you know, Mary's done the requesting on the funds, and we've been compensated $1 million for Riverside Canal Phase 3 and a few other ones. So we're almost there. We got put in the corner for a few months, but it is what it is.
Good job, Jay. Looks good. Yeah.
Thank y'all.
All right, Jay.
Dr. Bear and Mary and Lisa have all.
They've all helped. Jay, you got anything else on these? That's pretty comprehensive. You gave us a good up to date.
No, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Let me see, okay, it's time, we've got, closed session coming up here. Let's go out here, an open session here at 10:12. We'll come back in about 5 minutes. 5-minute break, we'll do a real quick, closed session.
Okay.
All right.